Hello. And today we were playing Under the Full Bright Moon. And this game first came out in August. There was no part anyway, but it's been rewritten, so it just came out on New Year's Eve, I think. I don't know much about it, other than the fact that it's about a human who somehow ended up in this area and got rescued by this giant 7 foot tall wolfman. So where am I? It's so dark. I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my arms. I can't feel my body. What's going on? No matter how hard I struggle, nothing changes. Nothing moves. It's like nothing exists in this space. And yet in the darkness, I can feel a sudden howling chill course through me. The sound here sounds like a voice, but I'm not sure I even actually heard a voice. It's more like I felt it, and it echoed deep within me. What? Who are you? Where am I? The endless darkness changes, and I can see something there, something close. And before I can think, I can feel it grabbing hold of me. Not my body, not my arms and legs. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can't feel them. It's like it's taking a deep grip on my very core. Hey, what are you doing? Let me go. Leave me alone. As suddenly as I had been set upon, I was released. Light once again coming to my eyes. Moonlight. It's blurry, but I can see the moon high in the sky. It feels like it's bigger than I remember. I also hear the soft rustle of a breeze through the trees. I'm alive, but I have no idea how I got here. What? Huh? Where am I? How did I end up in a forest? I grow, feeling stiff as I pull myself up. My eyes finally focus and I take in the scenery around me. I can make out a clearing before me. There's a stone fountain. In the colorless light of the moon, I can make out a carving of a howling wolf in its center. Curiosity and confusion draw me closer, and I can see that it's completely dry. It has likely been that way for some time. It's so old. What's this even doing out here in the middle of nowhere? Wait, where even is here anyway? Where am I? It's not like I live near any forest and I will remember a landmark like this. Something feels wrong, off. Like the entire world isn't how it's supposed to be. The air, the sky, just everything seems to be just different. I can feel a prickling of fear start to crawl up my skin. I need help. I can see her calling out for it. I have no idea why I am, but I couldn't have gotten that far from home. I take a steady breath before cupping my hands around my mouth to project my voice. Hello? Hello? Nothing. I turn one way and then the other, continuing to call out. Anybody? Anybody at all? Huh? Still nothing. Confused and growling steadily, more anxious, I start to run around hoping to find someone, anyone who can help me. This is so odd. Is it just me out here, all alone, yelling to myself in the middle of nowhere? The sudden sound of rustling leaves snaps me back to reality and I freeze. Hello? Hello? The sound immediately stops and that silence settles in. It's heavy, almost unnatural. I can feel eyes on me. Is there somebody here? Could you come out? I really need some help here. Something steps out of the darkness. At first I think it's a person, but no person looks like this. My eyes go wide with fear and confusion. What I'm seeing can't possibly be real, yet there it is staring back at me just as much as staring at him. Try as I can to get my body to move. Fear has rooted my feet to the spot. Some part of me is screaming to run. The other seems to somehow think that standing here like this is a good idea. A human here at night. Do you have a death wish? His voice is deep, raspy, and weighs heavily on my ears. It begins to move toward me. With that, my fear finally decided that instead of forcing my throat to stunned silence, it was time to scream loudly. The figure recoiled at that. Holy fuck. Not really able to string two thoughts together, I turn my head and start to frantically sprint away, determined not to stop for anything. By the moon. I'm panting, my lungs already starting to burn, but I don't care. They can be mad at me later, but for now, I have to get away from whatever that was. Fuck, shit. Help, someone help. I might not be too big of a fan of life, but the prospect of having mine in a lie getting my throat ripped out is exactly that enticing of an alternative. I'm breathlessly calling out, hoping that by some miracle, anyone can save me from that massive thing. After covering some distance, I dare to take a glance behind me. For a moment I see what seems to be a boulder with eyes hurtling towards me before making direct contact with my back. The force of the impact knocks the air out of me, my footing gone in an instant, and for a brief horrible moment I can only watch as the ground rapidly rises up to meet me. Oh fuck. I can't breathe, but my chest is screaming, louder than I had been a moment ago. There's an immense weight pinning me down, and I can't even move. A moment later, the weight lifts off me, and I rolled off my chest and onto my back. The pain in my torso arcs through my body with a searing intensity. I try to scream again, but a huge, powerful, soft hand smothers my mouth. Shh. Moon's light. Can you be quiet? Are you trying to get eaten? He's whispering with a furious determination. I can't really hear him. It's hard to comprehend anything, and my sock-addled mind could only focus on trying to make sense of the monster who had pinned me. It looked canine, but I've never seen a dog or wolf that looked anything like this. I need to get away. This monster's going to kill me. I need to get away. I feel like a trapped animal, and so, like the trapped animal, I start to thrust uselessly, wildly, at whatever I can still move. In response, the beast pressed harder into me, pain shooting through me, so hard that I can't even see or hear properly. I can hear and feel a low, sickening crack coming from my ribcage. The sound, the pain, everything in that moment overwhelms me. I feel my consciousness fading, and the last thing I see are the silhouettes of a few more beasts as they step into the moonlight. For a moment, the pain was gone. For a moment, there was nothing. For a moment, there was peace. And peace was enough. But it was only for a moment. I feel reality steadily come back to me. I could smell smoke and old wood. The glowing crackle of a fire tickle at my dulled senses. The heavy groggy blandness lifts away as consciousness finds me again. Bowers. He's staring. Come. A deep sigh of relief fills the air, and I can make out some large shapes moving carefully toward me. Oh, thank Mani. I owe you one for this, Hawk. How much longer until he's fully healed? The mask is taking hold, but he did do quite a number on him. He still needs a few more hours to recover, give or take. Next time you take on a human, perhaps consider that you weigh over a dozen times what you used to. I can't recall a time when waking up was this slow or difficult. It feels like I'm coming out of a coma or something. Still the layers of sleep and incoherence were slipping away until I could finally make out the two huge beasts. In the firelight, it all seemed obvious. They were wolves. Werewolves? Dog people. Yeah, I still can't really register them, but my body and brain don't feel like doing anything. This bed is terribly comfortable. I can feel a stack of furs enveloping me in a rather luxurious, heavy warmth. But as consciousness finds me, so did confusion. I try to speak, but only a mumble escapes my mouth. Hearing me, the wolves stopped talking and stepped closer. With that, I let out a gasp of realization, panic finding me again. Who are you? What do you want from me? For some reason, even speaking hurts. I tried to wrench myself away from them, but an intense, sharp pain erupts from my chest, immobilizing me. Still, I tried to plead. Stay away, please, stay away. Hawk holds up his paws, just so he means no harm, taking a small step back before nudging at Bowers to do the same. Hey now, it's alright. Nobody here is going to hurt you, I promise. I looked at Bowers, thoroughly unconvinced. Hawk seems to pick up on that. He lowers his voice further, speaking quite softly and reassuringly for his size. Bowers did not mean to harm you. He is very sorry for what he did. Aren't you, Bowers? The big beast folds his arms, looking a bit irritated. Do I really have to apologize for saving his life? No, but you will apologize for scaring him half to death and then fracturing his rib cage. The brute sits uncomfortably before letting out a frustrated sigh. I'm sorry for being too rough with you. Hawk stands there, waiting for the remainder of the apology. When it doesn't come, he just shakes his head. I promise you, he meant no harm. I know from your perspective it might not seem true, but he really was trying to help you. He was yelling out in the open in the middle of the night. He might as well have smothered himself in gravy. Not helping Bowers. The gray wolf grunts in exasperation, folding his arms tighter and looking away. So again, please relax. You need to keep still so you can heal properly. It was hard to process how casually the two of them were speaking. I could feel so many questions bubbling up in my mind, and yet the first one to come out was, How can I understand you? Hawk and Bowers exchanged a look, certainly not expecting that to be the first thing I asked. You look quite overwhelmed. That's putting it mildly. Hawk considered me for a long moment, eyes narrowing, and I have the feeling that you have questions. Yeah. The lighter wolf grunted, looking displeased. Just so you know, I really would prefer you went back to sleep. I don't think I can. It was an honest answer. Nothing seems familiar, and it's not like I feel too prepared to trust two unfamiliar monster people, one which had already half killed me, to just let me sleep in peace. Hawk looked to Bowers as if asking for help. Hey, don't look at me. And getting a few questions off his chest gets him to shut up and go back to sleep. I'm all for it. I could swear he's poking fun at me, phrasing. I could swear he's poking fun at me for phrasing it that way. Sensing he was outnumbered, the smaller wolf looked back to me. Tell you what, I will make you an offer. If you can pull up into a sitting position without hurting yourself, we can talk. Tell you what, if I will make you an offer, you can pull up into a sitting position without hurting yourself, we can talk. You cannot, you will go back to sleep. Do we have a deal? I weighed my options for a few moments. The dull ache in my torso makes sleep quite a tempting offer, but I know my brain is not gonna quiet down without some answers. Deal. Carefully, deliberately, I put my hands up and start to push down. The pain in my body lets me know when I'm moving too fast to twist something I shouldn't. I use it to guide my back up to the headboard behind me. Halfway up, Hawk gently adjusts the pillow out from beneath me so I could rest my back against it, just as I finally get my head back and shoulders upright. It hurts like hell, but it doesn't feel like anything shifted to where it shouldn't be. Through all this, Bowers had made a few moves like he wanted to help, but seemingly couldn't think to do anything that Hawk hadn't already done. While I steady my breathing, Hawk steps up to the fire, then back to me, presenting a large, simple porcelain cup. Well done. If you're going to be up, please drink this. It's a simple blend of herbs that may help relax you, I promise. And take a moment to really consider Hawk and just how hospitable this enormous wolfman is being to me. I accept the drink, having to use both hands to hold a cup that was clearly not made with my proportions in hand. The tea isn't piping hot, so I give it a slow sip, finding a comforting herbal sensation filling my mouth and sliding easily down my throat. Acceptable. I now go first. Introductions. The lighter wolf thumps his chest with his fist in a kind of formal gesture. As you may have noticed, my name is Hawk, and this here is my good friend, Bowers. And you are? Pen is still tugging at the edges of my mind. I momentarily consider giving a fake name. Then I remember that with a name like mine, people usually think I'm lying about it anyway. Phoenix Quill. Hawk let out a light chuckle at that, his smile easing some of the tension in the room. Pleased to make your acquaintance. At risk of repeating myself, we generally do not want to hurt you, and even though Bowers' actions clearly terrify you, please know that what he did was ultimately for your safety. I'm not sure how I feel about that. True, I'm in someone's bed thinking they're perfectly adequate herbal tea. Drinking their perfectly adequate herbal tea, but I'm also actively in recovery from nearly being squashed like a bug. Can I ask some questions now? Hawk gave a bit of an unsteady nod, realizing he derailed the conversation. Of course, you picked this over sleep, so ask away. I'm trying to find a kind way to phrase my next question, but there aren't many kind words that come to mind. What are you exactly? Why am I here? And where even is here? Both Hawk and Bowers regard me curiously for a few moments. I feel like I might have said too much. You are in the Wolf Sire, and we are werewolves. I am a bit surprised that you would be in our lands without knowing either of those two things. I don't really have a response to that. It wasn't exactly like I had walked here, but I doubt saying I just mysteriously woken up in some random forest was going to be all that believable either. I'd actually never heard of any wolf sire. It was pretty sewer werewolves actually existed, I would have heard about them. I see. Bowers, apparently feeling left out of the conversation, had seated himself at a nearby table. He was holding something I could barely make out in the firelight. Which I recognized as my keyring. It had likely fallen out of my pocket at some point. He examines one of its charms, a silver bird, before holding it up to his maw and biting it, putting a deep dent into it. Hey! The wolf snapped to attention, quickly realizing what he'd unconsciously done. Oh, this yours? Well, I mean, yes. Trying to not look embarrassed, he casually tosses the keyring to me, which lands atop the bed with a quiet thump. I pick it up, looking over the charm. The sight of the deep dent sends a chill up my spine. If he can bite into solid metal, could he do to flesh and bone? Hawk, however, heaves a heavy sigh. Did he just bite into his twiglet without an apology? Bowers folds his arms tighter, looking a bit flustered. Sorry. Hawk shakes his head, turning his attention back to me. So, Phoenix, do you live nearby? With clothes and twinkles like this, there's no way. I looked at Bowers, who's now brandishing another one of my possessions. My phone! Your what? I tried to reach out and grab it, but even that much movement sends a sharp arc of pain through my entire chest, locking me into place. Frustrated, Hawk snatches the phone from Bowers' hand before offering it to me. Accepting it, I almost turned the screen on without thinking, but something in the back of my brain stops me. It seems to think that doing that in front of these two werewolves, might be a bad idea. What is that thing anyways? It's my phone. Phone? I take a moment to register the confusion in both wolves' faces, then another moment to take in my surroundings. So the little cottage thing I think I'm in is nice, but there's not a single electronic item to be seen, not a single thing made of plastic, not a single wall outlet. I consider that maybe I should be a touch careful with what information I share. It's a good luck charm. Bowers scoffs. Can't be all that lucky. It can be if he's still alive after yelling like that in the middle of the night. I let out a bit of a nervous chuckle, then immediately regretted. It seems my ribs do not like laughing at all. I hit some pain, hugging one arm around my chest, the other still holding the half-full mug. Hawk steps in, carefully pulling the drink from my hand and setting it on the table. That really doesn't sound good. Phoenix, can you lie down for me, please? I know you want to talk, but I need to double check your injuries. I nod, then take a few steadying breaths. With Hawk's help, my head's back on the pillow. It was less painful than pulling myself up, but still hurt a great deal. The pain makes me want to take deep breaths, but my bones clearly prefer I keep my breathing shallow. Once down, Hawk stands over me. He holds out his hands right over my chest before they start to glow a soft, welcoming green. I can't help but stare in amazement as a sense of warmth and calmness emanates from them right into me, my breathing regulating in moments. Hawk, however, clicks his tongue in frustration, pulling his hands away. Thought so. The magic's not working like it should. What do you mean? My brain struggles to process what I just heard. Magic? Was that magic just now? Since when was magic real? I mean what I said, the magic's not working like it should. It's not stitching things together as fast as it usually does. What? Why? Because a lot of reasons. Something in the human's blood, something about our magical capabilities, something the human ate. I don't know. Magic can be fickle sometimes. Is he gonna recover though? Hawk's, Hawk's features gave a twitch of hesitation at that question. Of course he will, but we're looking at a few days rather than a few hours. If things change and I can get the magic working properly, it'll get done faster, but this is just how things are. Bowser's expression sours. Hawk, however, ignores him and gives me a genuinely reassuring smile. I know we haven't done much yet to earn your trust, but for your sake, I really do need you to try to rest and to try to move as little as possible tonight, right? I nod. Yes, sir. I don't think I got much of a choice either way. Hawk's smile falters, looking a little more apologetic. Sorry, kiddo. You really don't. The tawny wolf pulls himself up straight, turning to Bowers and shrugging. That really is all I can do for now. I'll be back after sunup to check in on him, but the rest is up to you. You can manage, right? Of course, Hawk. Please get some rest. It's late. Hawk nods, looking back to me. Sleep well, Phoenix. With a thump to his chest and a nod, Hawk steps out of the cottage. With him gone, however, an awkward silence settles in the room, the crackling of the fire and the sound of the wind only making it more tense. I had figured Bowers would excuse himself as well so I could rest, but he just stands there looking like there's something he wants to say, yet not saying anything. Well, if he's not gonna break the silence. Thank you for saving my life. The wolf's posture stiffens. I have already apologized for being too forceful, but you were screaming at night time, and the wolf's sire is a very poor time to draw attention to yourself if you don't have the muscle to back it up. There are things out there far more dangerous than me. Yeah, sorry, it's just, well, I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen an actual werewolf before. Where I come from, they're just myths. The wolf regards me with a doubtful but curious look. Hawk was right. I cannot fathom how it is that you got this far into our lands with such impressions in your hand. Again, there was that sense that something about all this wasn't quite right, and I could feel questions coming my way that I would prefer to avoid. So this is a wolf star, yeah? Is it a nice place to live? Bowers scoffs at that question faster than his manners could catch up to him. The wolf star is what we call it, but this village is essentially the ruins of a long abandoned town that once belonged to some tribe. We have been working to make it habitable again as it belongs to those werewolves. It is our sire, our sanctuary. So that means you really are a werewolf. The look on Bowers' face made it clear he couldn't tell if I was being serious or joking. Your capacity for critical thought has me concerned that you might have also fractured your skull, young one. I felt my face going red with embarrassment, but pressed on. Hey, I only got one question out before Hawk put me back down, so it's your turn. Like I said, I've never seen a werewolf before. Well now, you've seen two. Hawk is one as well, in case that was not clear. Hawk is my good friend and our pack sage. You would do well to respect his wisdom. Pack? Yes, we are a pack. I am this pack's leader. As Alpha. That word alone made it clear that there were going to be a lot of differences between his culture and mine. And what does that mean? It means that the welfare of the pack is my responsibility. So anything happened to any of our pack, I bear the direct burden for it. It is a position of extreme trust that I have to work to constantly maintain. Well, that sounds intense. Barrel smirked confidently, and I could sense the tension in the air loosening between us. It is. I have been alpha for over 13 years now. I would do anything to keep my pack safe. And how did he become an alpha? Well, the wolf hesitates as if some part of him knew how his next statement would sound. Before I answer, you need to know that when a pack hunts or fights or defends, the alpha stands at the front lines they must lead, and their life and body are the sword and shield that defends all others. I became alpha through a trial combat, taking the position from our previous alpha. Someday a wolf with a stronger heart than mine will relieve me of this charge. I look forward to it. While the notion seems somewhat barbaric, I find myself unable to argue with the reasoning. So you really must care about others. Barrels gives a bit of a chuffing chuckle, his thick tail coming to life, swaying side to side at that. The strongest muscle in a great alpha is their heart, pup. The wolf regards me again for a moment, really taking me in. It has been a great long time since I have spoken with a human. I cannot believe I used to be as small as one of you. The tone of the air felt a bit awkward again, but this time more familiar rather than strange. Balance clears his throat before I can think of anything to say. Now, will you kindly go back to sleep? Hawk would have my hide if I kept you up all night. I nod, but then take a moment to again consider the room I'm in. Your bed? Where's your bed? You're lying in it. Oh, wait, don't you want it? Nah, it's the only bed I got, and you need it a lot more than I do. Mind I could sleep under the stars, but I'm not about to leave you unattended in case you decide to start screaming again. I let out a small, dry laugh, making Bow smirk before giving up and pulling one of the furs up to better cover myself. Rest well, pup. Barrels rolls his shoulders, leaning back in his chair, getting comfortable. Part of me wants to stare to really take a minute or two to really make sense of what I'm looking at, but I also don't want Barrels to catch me doing that. My mind is swimming with more questions, but I'm so terribly comfortable in the cool night air mixed with the warmth of the heavy furs on me just blurs those thoughts together. And before I know it, sleep has effortlessly taken me. Blackness, at first peaceful, but then I feel something that shouldn't be here. I try to move, but like before, nothing responds. Again, it's like I don't even have a body, yet I feel so helpless, so trapped. In the endless void, a distant figure manifests on the horizon. Just observing it sends dread pulsing through me, and I wanted to go away. I'm not usually afraid of the dark, but this space just feels so unsafe, like the blackness was trying to suffocate me. And then I hear something. Sick, grinning out, Chukkai. A sound or a sensation of some kind echoed through the void. But it's unclear, like there's static or like it's both muffled and yet also slipping in and out of tune. I tried to yell, to tell her to go away, or at least speak up, but I can't make it sound. Jack said with Jack. The darkness presses on me from every direction. I tried to scream, to swear, and to say it's something. I feel myself being crushed under the weight of nothing. But as quickly as the darkness came in parts, the black fades to a woman's gray as I hear the sound of my name. Phoenix. I feel my knee being held by an enormous hand, giving it a careful jostle. Light quickly comes back to my eyes. Yeah. I snap awake hard, like I had been stabbed before, instantly realizing I'd just been dreaming and letting out a low groan of exhaustion. Nightmares, fun. Me and unconsciousness are gonna need to have a long talk if this shit keeps up. I give her a huge yawn, wanted to just go back to sleep, but there's a wolf standing over me, looking pretty concerned. Hey, Bowers. Is everything okay? Bowers looks fairly incredulous at that. You tell me. You're the one who was breathing and whimpering in your sleep. Are you alright? Or your injuries hurting as the wound opened up? What? No, I'm fine. Nothing's damaged any more than last night. Bowers sighs deeply, his shoulders untensing. Don't scare me like that, okay? I give a playful scoff. It's not like I was trying to, you know? Bowers folds his arms, clearly feeling a bit uncomfortable. Anyway, are you feeling any better? Something about the way he says that makes it feel like he's trying to change the subject, and I decide I'm fine with that. I carefully sit up, twisting my torso this way and that, moving my arms. My bones creak and pop, but in a good way. It's like a good pain, the kind that tells you that things are moving to where they're supposed to be. It's definitely an unpleasant, dull ache, but no sharp pains like there had been a few hours ago. Just the idea that I was healing this quickly and with the aid of magic of all things was absolutely bonkers. I've heard and dreamt about magic thousands of times, but to actually have real magic performed on me and to feel its effects was honestly 2 months to even fully process at that moment, and still seemed best to not appear too surprised by that, given how casually Hawk had done it last night. Yeah, I think I'm a little better. Moving doesn't hurt as much. Bowers frowned at that. But it still hurts, huh? I don't get it. Hawk's magic usually works so fast. Alright, but he did say that sunlight and a good meal should help you heal faster. Do you think you can walk? Honestly, I don't feel like doing much of anything at the moment. If I had my choice, I'd be staying in bed for another. It's kind of hard to say no to a giant werewolf, especially after kicking them out of their own bed for the night. Yeah, let me try. I turn myself towards the edge of the bed, pushing myself a little too hard, the pain telling me to slow it down as I let out a small yelp. Bowers automatically reaches out to me before hesitating, as if a little worried that if he touches me I might break all over again. I take a few slow breaths before walking my legs off to the side of the bed, my feet soon dangling a couple inches off the floor. These Bowers must be pretty huge if this is his bed. I pull myself forward, trying to reach my toes down to find the floor. Bowers steps right in, taking a firm, sure hold on my arm and shoulder, helping me down and onto my feet. Despite his strength, his touch is soft and gentle. Thank you. Bowers just nods, letting me go at first, but then offering me his hand for support. I don't really trust my body much right now. Honestly, I also don't think I could say no to such a gentlemanly offer. I put my hand in the werewolf's, the sensation actually catching me off guard. I hadn't touched it directly before, and so was expecting the pad of his hand to be rough, but instead it's shockingly soft. Like a velvety, squishy thing, it's honestly hard to not immediately rub my fingers right into it. Oh wow. Nothing, just nice to be on my feet again. He doesn't press the matter as I get my shoes back on. He then leads me to the door, going at my pace. Alright, here we go. The air outside of the cottage smells so fresh, so clean, my body instantly feels lighter as the warmth of the sun washes over me. The world is growing in every direction. The sky is filled with the music of morning birdsong. I breathe in and out. It's quite beautiful here. Of course it is. We're surrounded by nature, as we ought to be. I lose myself in the moment, taking it all in. Bowers just watches me with a bit of a bemused expression. Oh, by the way, what time is it? I consider checking my phone, but again, I have the odd feeling that I shouldn't be turning that on right now. Plus, I have no idea if the time on it is accurate. I'm honestly a bit scared to check it, for a number of reasons. It's nearly midday. You were asleep for a good while. I'm glad you needed it. He says that, but now I just feel embarrassed. I can't explain why, but it just feels disrespectful to oversleep in a stranger's bed. Before I can reply, a loud rumble echoes from my stomach. It seems like it also just realized what time it was. Barrows lets out a hearty laugh. So like someone's found their appetite. That's good. A hearty meal will help you recover. I look up at him, feeling a bit sheepish. Yes, please. Also, can I ask you something? Fire away, pup. Why are you being so nice to me? I don't think he expected to hear that. He sits uncomfortably, face going a little red. Well, I mean, it's like I said, I'm the alpha. It's my duty to protect people and keep them safe. It's not like I trust you or anything yet, but still, you haven't done anything to harm me or the pack, and that changes. If that changes, well, I think by now, you know that won't go over well for you. Besides, I'm just setting things right. I cannot take care of your effort to hold. He gestures at my torso. Bones thing. I don't think I could live for myself. Despite the health threat, I still found myself smiling at that. That's kind of sweet in its own way. The werewolf holds his arms tighter, his tail quite determinedly stiff, with his ear flicking like he's feeling more than he wants to let on. Alright, enough of that. Let's walk a couple times around the house so your body doesn't forget how to move while you're healing. Can that happen? I don't know, but I don't feel like finding out. Hawk says you're an anomaly, so I'm ready for nothing to be normal about you. Your confidence is reassuring. He chuckles, and so do I. We start to meander around the house, and I try to get a good look at the town, but all I can see is a path and a few other cottages. We turn the corner, and against the outer walls, there are a number of wild flowers, with bees dutifully poking their heads into them. I thought we were gonna eat. Sound like first, food second. Besides, Hawk said he'd be bringing us breakfast. But he said it's almost noon. Then we both figured out that he's awful late. Do you think he's alright? Hawk, of course. Either he got as much sleep as you did, or one of the local pups fell out of the tree again. Pups are always getting scraped up. Personally, I think Hawk should make them wait a little longer before healing them up. It just teaches them to be reckless. But Hawks are soft heart. You can't bear to hear them whimper and cry. I look sideways at Bowers, getting a clear sense that this alpha's heart was exactly made of stone itself. Hey, I'm a pup too, according to you. Bowers scoffs, because you certainly look like one. How old are you anyway? 17, 18? I'm 22. Yeah, still a pup. Now it's my turn to scoff. Yeah, and so how old does that make you? The big wolf's ears fold back at that question. 55. Whoa, okay. We both go silent for a few moments. Bowers doesn't really look that old to me, but then again, it's not like I've seen many other werewolves to compare him to. A werewolf can usually live to 150 if they're smart and careful, but I'm still in my prime. You're still a pup. I put my hands up in a mock defensive way. Alright, you win, Pops. The big wolf huffs, pick up my pace. Come on, kiddo. Let's talk in Milwaukee. Funny how the mind works. I'm talking to a werewolf and had my bones healed with actual magic, and yet the strangest sensation I'm processing right now is how odd it is to walk laps around the house. I think I get it, though Bowers probably doesn't want to overwhelm me by taking me further into town. Or maybe he just doesn't want the rest of his pack to see the guy he accidentally maimed. After a fourth round, however, Bowers comes to a stop. Finally, he cuts his hands around his muzzle, shouting out, "Took it long enough." On the path, I see Hawk make his way towards us, carrying a large basket that looks fairly heavy. He waves to us and Bowers waves back. Alright, better stoke the fire for him. Let's get back inside. Once we're inside, Bowers begins to toss more wood on the fire's members. I stretch my arms out, yawning again before easing myself into one of the chairs around the table. Hawk and Bowers were right. I felt better, looser now after some sunlight and movement. I'm still certainly a ways from a full recovery, but from where I was last night, this is incredible. I watched as the fire springs back to life, Bowers looking satisfied. Hawk let himself in, nodding kindly to me. Sorry for the hold-up. Astrid was late getting today's eggs in. Bowers gives him a bit of an incredulous look. You had plenty yesterday. Yeah, until I cooked for you. The Alpha's ears flatten and he drops the subject. Who's Astrid? A very kind sea wolf who manages most trade around here, as well as one of the few salts in our sire. You might meet her eventually. Hawk reaches into his basket, unloading a few dark, yeasty loaves of bread. There are a few drawers, a couple dozen eggs, and a metal plate filled with thick slices of smoked meat. Fire's ready. And look, I see that the fire's light is now dimmed by the installation of a makeshift piece of metal, effectively turning the fireplace into a kind of stove where the fire can still breathe, but also providing a hot, flat surface to work with. My thanks. Hawk retrieves a large pan, wasting no time scooping a thick white substance into it. My nose quickly tells me that it's some kind of animal fat. The sounds of cooking soon filled the cottage, Bowers taking a seat across from me. So, I've been wondering. The big wolf looks at me, and I'm already losing my nerve. But I'm just too curious to not ask. Have you always been a werewolf? The feel of the air shifts immediately. I can tell here a sore spot, and the tension in Bowers' haunches proves it. And yet, quick as he tries to untense, clearly doing his best to be a good host. No, I had another life before this one. But that is a private question, pup. On our side, we accept all werewolves who want to live their lives in peace. Save for the whelps all around us. Save for the whelps, all of us found this life through tragedy, if we are not in the practice of opening old wounds. It is why we have shown you that same respect, even though you are not a werewolf. I look down strolling. I'm pretty certain the two of them probably have hundreds of questions for me that I'm not all ready to answer. You know he meant no offense, Bowers. The huge wolf leans back in his chair, looking up at the ceiling and letting out a long breath of air. Yeah, I know, Hawk. Thanks. Would you prefer I tell him? No, I wouldn't. It's not your story to tell. The tension in the air is palpable, and for a long moment, we're all silent. Bowers' tail is twitching with agitation, and I'm unsure if I should stay quiet or apologize. Yeah, fine. But I'm gonna need a drink for this. He gets up and moves to a corner of the kitchen, returning with a flagon of what smells like a heady apple cider. It isn't even the afternoon, Bowers. My house, my cider, my choice. He took the flagon back, chugging the entire thing in one go. It's kind of mesmerizing watching his throat expand and contract with each gulp. It's like it somehow makes his existence seem even more real. Ah. Looking once more at ease, Bowers leans back in his chair and rolls his shoulders. So, his eyes go big and he turns his head to the side, covering his maw with his forearm as he lets out an impressive belch that makes Hawk jump. Oh, that's so. A lifetime ago, I was a knight, strong, dependable, honorable, all that. I lived my life for my people and fought for a life worth living. I was good too. Nobody could best me in single combat, but I wasn't built with the best stomach for slaughter. I could disarm, disable, capture, and detain better than anyone else, but I never got comfortable with taking another person's life. So they made me the knight commander for all the kingdom of Camelot. And nearly choking my spirit hearing that word. Camelot. So you've heard of that, at least. There was that feeling again that I should choose my words carefully. Sure, I mean, who hasn't? Battles looked pleased to hear that, but for a moment I could have sworn that Hawk had been staring at me. I oversaw the training of all new recruits, having my own as well as to practice and perfect the art of training with. It wasn't hard for me. They were pure and innocent, and many of them were orphans looking for a place to make a difference. You can't unsee your first decapitation. You can't just forget witnessing someone's entrails spill out of them. I can feel my appetite fading, and the smell of cooking meat isn't helping. Yet that's what I had to prepare them for, and no matter how hard I tried, it never got any easier. I was given an order to oversee at a small fort near a town. Training had gone as smoothly as it could until one night. Though the wolf takes a long, slow breath, a beast came over the wall, just right over it, like it was hardly a hurdle. He tore through my men like they were paper, and the whole time I thought he was barking or braying or howling in a strange way. I now know he was laughing, like he chose to attack our fort just because he could, because it was something to do. I could see he's shaking it a little. I'm honestly regretting asking him about this. Trying to protect me because I was a high-ranked officer, and after they had all fallen, the beast decided that instead of killing me, he would turn me into this. Bowers gestured to himself pointedly before letting his arm fall and taking a few slow, calming breaths. And so I swore to myself that night, never again. I would never be anywhere but the front line. I would protect and shield others from the horrors of the world. And every day I see my reflection, I feel my tail, I touch my fur, and I've reminded myself of what I've sworn. Silence follows his words, leaving me to take in what he said. Hawk steps in, his features calm and respectful. And you've kept your word. The larger wolf sits at a large plate before Bowers. Half a dozen over-easy eggs and crispy smoked meat ooze their flavor into thick slices of toasted bread. And then places an equally full plate in front of me before taking a seat with his own. But please, for now, let's eat. Regret weighs heavily on an empty stomach. Utensils in hand, we dig in. After that story, I really don't feel like eating, but after just one bite. Sweet motherfuck, that's good. While the whites of the eggs are cooked through, the yolk is tantalizingly runny and a gorgeous deep golden orange. They taste like the eggiest egg I ever eaten. The bread is flavorful and naturally sweet, having a hearty crunch to it all the way to the last chew. and the meat is so savory with just the right amount of salt to make everything harmonize so perfectly in every mouthful. It's also fresh and scrumptious now. I understand where Bauer's gut had come from. For a few minutes, the only sounds to hear are all of us eating with ravenous vigor. I had clearly been starving, and this was my aeosis. Bowers finished his verse, leaning back and patting his belly before remembering his manners and getting Hawk and I some water. It's not long before Hawk finishes too, both of them having cleared their plates, where I had only managed a quarter of mine. Once you had some time to eat your fill and digest a little, we can head to the village. I don't know where you're from, but your clothes do not look like they're built for any kind of real work. That is, unless you intend to stay. I forced myself to swallow the big bite in my mouth before answering. Stay? You're not a prisoner, and all are welcome here. But if you will be staying, we will want you to help. The nearby village is a human settlement, so you wish to return to your kind, you're free to. Either way, you'll need new clothes if you're gonna help out here. And don't worry about the cost unless your farm can produce money. We're both pretty sure you're flat broke. I feel a mix of emotions in my chest and stomach. A nearby village might mean I can rejoin society, but will it be the society I know? Do I even want to return to it? I can't make that decision right now. Thank you. I'll also want to check on your recovery soon. I broke up at that, looking up from my plate. Oh, that reminds me. I almost blurt a question out before realizing how it might sound if I choose my words poorly. You are a sage, right? I wanted to ask what magic is like for a sage. Oh, well, how to put this? The tawny wolf looks a bit put on the spot. Sages aren't too different from most magic users, I guess. Do you know what a fighting style is? Yeah, it's like that, much like how two warriors can have different ways they wield the same sword. There are different ways to weave magic. None of them is necessarily better or worse than any other. Barrels lets out a rough, dry laugh before saying the next word. A little. Hawk's ears flatten, and he groans in frustration. Stuff for you too. Sages approach magic more like a craft than an art. Yes, I believe you get better, more consistent results that way, but the sage approach doesn't work best for everyone. Saga City is broken into 5 elements, and the one that resonates with me is the wind. Wind is the element of change, subtlety, and versatility. While you don't have the destructive power of fire, earth, or lightning, nor the healing aptitude of water, wind is really only limited by your creativity. I'm willing at how casual of a subject this is for him, and I'm eager to know more. Do you have to do a lot of magic as a sage? I watched in real time as Hawk's whole body looks tired here and there. Well, aside from being the only one in our pack trusted enough to be a healer, I'm needed for certain repairs that hammers can't fix. I also have to regularly perform enchantments in order to ensure the safety and prosperity of the village. Prosperity? Yes, prosperity, such as, The wolf quickly scans the room before his eyes find my plate. Eggs. You see how many eggs we could eat? Do you imagine that we have the hundreds of chickens it would take to feed us all? I swear I haven't seen the wolf sire, so I wouldn't know. I have to enchant all the chickens a few ways, and one is that they will eat countless insects instead of grain. This way we can have them out in the field eating bugs and beetles, protecting our yield, but also producing far more eggs than they normally would. That's another enchantment. Right, you can enchant actual animals? Hawk gestures vaguely in the air, looking for the right way to explain things. Enchant, blast, curse is a way of different words for the same central kind of thing. You're altering the way a living thing works that is different from how it would otherwise behave. It's a very delicate art, and you have to be extremely careful with it. Bowers leans in, covering the side of his mouth, facing Hawk with an open hand as if sharing some kind of secret. He exploded the first chicken he tried it on. It was my first time. I never worked the spell before, and half the pack was staring at me. He turned the poor hen to a cloud of feathers. It was hilarious. Maybe for you. We stuffed his pillow with him. I couldn't help but laugh at that. At the same time, I have a lot to learn about magic. It certainly sounds like something a person shouldn't carelessly screw around with. I don't much care to get exploded myself. I'm trying my best, okay? So leave off. Sorry that I'll never be a champion. Bowser's mood flips at that word. Oh, Moon's light, not this again. Champion? Dora encouraged him. Legendary humans said to come from another world. It said that while they came from a world with no magic, they arrived here and tutors an aether like they could breathe magic. And how that all evolved into a literal witch hunt. I know everyone knows. Fun story. It's an interesting story. And you keep forgetting that I grew up in Camelot. Bowers gestures to me and my half-finished plate. You've eaten plenty. If we let Hawk get talking, we won't make it to the shops before they close. Hawk gives a look of mock offense. Oh, mighty forbid I get between a man and his new pair of pants. Fine, I'll clean up here, but at least get something that actually looks good on him. Sure, let's go. Bowser makes his way to the front door, intent on leading me out, but I instead turn to Hawk and give a bit of a bow, unsure what the proper formal action is in this situation. Thank you for the wonderful meal. At that, Bowers also seems to remember his manners. Right, thank you for going to all this trouble. Of course, but you will let me examine him when we get back. Just promise me you won't sit on him or anything until then. Just stuff it, will ya? Huck chortles at that. It seems he's a pro at getting the last word. We step clear of the cottage and I look back. Goodbye, Hawk. Take care, Phoenix. May the moon guide you to your destined fate. I feel a chill go up my spine at those words, and I don't know why. Even though Hawk is giving a friendly smile, there's something about it that makes me feel cold even with the sunlight on my face. I look away quickly, scratching my head. He hadn't said or done anything problematic, so why do I feel so shaken? It takes a moment for my breathing to steady. Bowers and I starting in earnest down the path. A sense of dread settles on me, and my mind is pulled back to the past, my past. And I'm stuck with the possibility that all of it, my world, my life, my everything, was gone. Hey guys, I'm Romez Zwaco, a programmer and a UI artist. I hope you enjoyed this demo of Under the Full Bright Moon. It was really interesting to see these characters' interaction alongside with the plot. I'd love to thank the invaluable teammates who contributed to this game. You could look them up or click their names. Crispy Whites as creator writer of the game. Kelsky as co-writer, background artist, character artist, CG artist, UI assistant. These characters are also owned by Kelsky. And Dodaki as an assistant writer, copy editor. The special promotional artworks were made by Artyom, and Dim the Lights. The beautiful music that you heard is made by Poke 3. Free to use FXX provided by Free Sound and YouTube. Additional sound effects from Zap Splat. 1,000 thank yous to our followers and Patreon supporters. You guys mean the world to us. From here, the project will be on hiatus as Kelsky needs a break for personal reasons. Follow our Twitter and Patreon for any updates on UTFBN and Kelsky. You can also follow my Twitter page for progress on our other projects. Thank you again for your support, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. I forgot one last thing. Patreon followers will have access to early builds, behind-the-scenes content, and be the first to be updated on all our projects. Again, thank you for playing. Okay, so that was Under the Full Bright Moon, the first. Oh, I guess it's still a demo, but anyway. Okay, so it looks like some prophecy. Looks like the human here is here because of some prophecy, and as what's his name said, the smaller wolf, the mage, sage, I guess, but he said that a human would come from another world with no magic, and he would be able to kind of like consume magic, something like that. But the part where he says that a human will come from a whole nother world with no magic, that's just like the human's situation he's in right now. And at the end, once the sage took the human out of what's the name? I've got their names already, but once he took the human out of the Alpha's home, he told the human that made the moon, sounded like that, but basically said that made the moon bless him and his. He knew that the human fits the prophecy, and that's the reason why he left and said goodbye to him that way, like he was wishing him luck. Okay, let me go look some. Okay. Alright, so we got a journal. Here's an ambulance siren coming. Here's a journal. About myself. 5 feet 8. A new human named Phoenix Quill followed through the cracks of time into the world of Grim, finding himself in the midst of a struggle between an evil rampaging the woods of Wolfstar. His life is a mystery before coming to the world, but he hopes his new friendship to the Alpha Wolf makes him feel more at home. A new human named Phoenix Quill. Bowers, 7'5". Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this is like the puny, tiny human ends up in a world full of giant, buff, 7 foot tall wolfman. Yeah, kind of like a few other games I know about, like Adastra and Far Beyond the World and Liar and several others. Bowers is the alpha of the pack who harboring a secret that others do not know. A kind-hearted but firm leader, he takes it upon himself to protect both his pack and the human he found. 7'3", he's real big himself. Hawk, the sage of Wolfstar Alpha Pack, came into their life some time before Phoenix Rise. A man wrapped in mystery, he struck a chord with Bowers to be a valuable source to the pack, with being what's believed to be the last living sage in the world. The man, while coming soft and sweet, tends to be hardened when it comes to people not healing properly. Hawk, the sage of this. So about he has a big round belly. Wonder if it's a good pillow for a wolf. His muzzle is big. Would he let me boop it? He has big hands and they feel warm whenever he touches me and rough. He has a cutesy face, not to mention his smile. He seems generous. I wonder. He's less chubby than Bowers. I wonder how soft it is. He got a good knife on his right leg. A toeless socks for protection, maybe. Okay, that's the journal. Okay, so where's the journal? So we got to learn about Bowers' past, and that he used to be a knight for the kingdom of Camelot, that he would teach new recruits how to fight and battle and protect people. And a monster came and slaughtered all of them, or most of them, I guess, but he slaughtered all of them, and it struck him mentally because he cared for them, and it was difficult for him having to go over the story. So instead of the monster killing him, the monster turns him into a werewolf. Now, that's a little confusing to me. Like, was he always a wolf, but the monster turned him into a different kind of wolf? Like, was he a wolf before, but it turned him into a werewolf? Or was he human, but was turned into a werewolf? I'm kind of confused about that part, but anyway. So, he's an alpha of Wolfsire. He protects the people of this village, so at the end it admits that the game is on hiatus. Hopefully it won't be too long, because we'd like to see what the village looks like and meet the other people there. So, that's all I have to say about this game. Write in the comments what you think about it. So, thank y'all very much for watching. Goodbye.